You may have seen the headlines recently in Jack McCallum's new book, Dream Team. Former Trailblazer Clyde Drexler is quoted as saying everybody on the 1992 U.S. Olympic team felt sorry for Magic Johnson because they were waiting for him to die. Drexler has come out and said he never said that and that he's reached out to Magic to let him know. This is just one of the many stories that makes Dream Team such a compelling read. Jack McCallum is with us here again on KEX this morning. We need to start with the Drexler quotes, Jack. Let's put this in context. He was talking with you about Magic's HIV and how back then a lot of people thought an HIV diagnosis was a death sentence.
Yeah, there's no doubt that, the conversation actually started because Clyde started naming guys. Hey, why wasn't Dominique on the Olympic team? Why wasn't Worthy? Why wasn't Isaiah? And what he really wanted to say, which I understand, was why wasn't I put on right away? Because Clyde was an add-on. I go, that's fine, Clyde, but who would you take off? And at that point, he raised the issue of, first he said Bird. What was his production that year? What was Magic's production that year? And then he went on to talk about Magic, who had this perception that, that I think he was talking about the All-Star game primarily, that people were feeling a little sorry for him and we thought he was going to die. And it sounds impolitic, and it was, but I think he was just expressing, something that was in the air then, and the fact that Magic was put on that team without having played that season, and he didn't expand upon Larry Bird. But I think he was saying the same thing about Larry Bird, that Larry had been not an all-star competitor that year. So I felt bad that the lead-in on the Deadspin excerpt came in as thinking, hey, the Dream Team thought that. I hope it's clearer in the book, but I also want to make it clear that I do not fabricate quotes. I've been doing this for 40 years, and I'm certainly not going to start making anything up at my age.
Jack, what do you make of Clyde's recent comments, though, in which he says he never said that about Magic? Did it just look different in black and white to him, do you think?
That's exactly it. And, I think we haven't all been there, but we've all been at some point when the exact words you say are put into a different context. I'm sure Clyde honestly thought that any of those words never came out of his mouth as soon as he saw it set up as being the Dream Team. And let me make it clear, Kerry Eggers asked me, he said, well, how could he say those things? And then you're saying he did not resent Magic being on the Dream Team. And all I can tell you is I don't think Clyde did resent Magic being on the Dream Team. I think you can have two different opinions. I think you can raise the point, did his production that season deserve him a spot? And at the same time say, we welcomed him on there. I do not think, given the context of the whole thing, that is paradoxical at all.
Let's move on, because there was so much more to the 1992 Dream Team, which we saw here in Portland at the Tournament of the Americas at the Memorial Coliseum. There really can't be any debate, can there? This was the greatest collection of talent ever assembled on one team. Well,
I think so, because you essentially took the idea that someone could lose, out of the game. They began every game by the fact that, they were going to win it. And it became a little bit like a sort of a theater performance, because, you can go see Hamlet 6 times. You know what's going to happen. But each time you want to see, well, how do they play this scene a little different? How does this guy do this? And that's exactly what it was with the Dream Team. It was performance art, kind of more than competition. And I don't know whether we've ever had any team together like that.
Michael Jordan was the man. He liked being the man, and yet he had to put his ego aside and let Magic run the show on the U.S. Olympic team. That wasn't easy for MJ.
Before the games, when Chuck Daly was getting the team organized, he realized, well, he has Magic and Bird here, who are the two guys that saved the league. But then he has Michael Jordan, and it was sort of Michael's time. And he went to Jordan and he said, do you need to have a captainship with? And he goes, no, let Magic and Larry do it. And what he was really saying was, let Magic do it, because that ceremonial kind of stuff, Magic is, much, much, much better on. And let's make it clear, though, that on the court, during practices and sometimes in the family room late at night where they used to play cards, Michael made it clear to Magic that this is my time. this is the 90s. It's not the 80s anymore. He got that best message out very clear.
Jack, this book brings back so many memories for all of us who experienced it. Congratulations on capturing the excitement all over again. Jack McCallum, author of Dream Team, thanks for being with us on KE.